Alrighty folks, you're with Budget Monk. Welcome to another update here of our run. The one culture run. Who knows how well it's going to go, guys. It's really difficult to discern. But it's getting late. 1593, we're getting there. Towards sort of the mid-game. And you can see that due to our capital being in the New World. Look at that beautiful Castile. That's pretty cool, I gotta admit. So a lot has changed here. And we've taken over a lot of the natives. This is the first case out in the New World of a colonial nation actually getting away from us. I was really upset with how this went down. Like, France literally dropped like a single colony and then killed the natives here. And at the time, it was in fog. It's really annoying because he's actually breaking away. This is the first breakaway to a nation colonizing inland and getting out of control. Thankfully, our truce comes up here in a year's time. So in 1 year, I'm going to go in here, and unfortunately, we don't really have claim or anything like that. These are all the claims we have from our missions. It takes 80 spy network, 85 spy network to get another claim. So it is going to cost us some Diplo points, but it's going to be less Diplo points than it will be to convert provinces as he converts them to French by colonizing them. So yeah, I'm pretty desperate to go in here ASAP, annex these guys, and we'll try to use some of our military points here, seizing these colonies if we can, and then we can send our colonists south and convert them to Castilian that way. But apart from that, you can see he's got the claim on this region, or he's currently colonizing the La Plata region, however you say it, as well. But the plan is same method. I want that to become a colonial nation, and then we'll annex it without fighting the overlord. I did one version of that, guys, against England, annexing his colonial nation when it had taken 5 colonies, and England is now going for Canada. We also have Norwegian Denmark up here, who is Protestant, and I now have Deusvold against Denmark, so that's an interesting scenario. But you can see here, we begin expanding into the mainland as I finally have Deusvold. So I'm really in a hurry now to eliminate all of the natives as quickly as possible and get rid of separatism, and that way convert them to our culture. Basically, before we want to form Rome. So there's a few natives in South America. I guess the natives include the colonial nations, but yep, I've got Deusvold here. So this is all joint up. Yep, we're going to be starting many wars here, clearing these guys up. And you can see how good of a job we've done kind of blocking colonizers. Working currently on kind of Canada up here, fleshing the stuff out. And they're going to have fewer and fewer provinces on the borders to colonize. There's some gaps we need to close, obviously. A lot to be done yet. But looking pretty good in that regard. I did take the Cape here, just for one cheeky merchant, and we actually have a week, but we do nonetheless have a trading company in, I need to add this, I haven't added it, in the Ivory Coast, the Cape, and soon to be Zanzibar. I'm going to drop one colony here, and the reason I'm going to do that is because the age bonus in the next age of absolutism to hold 3 trading companies. So we're going to drop one province here, and I'm also in the process of hopefully exploring Australia. We're all the way up to there. For a second I thought I could see somebody there, but it's my imagination. We can see Australia barely, so that's another colonial region we have to deal with. Otherwise, in our own homeland, I have basically integrated Aragon for the second time. There's Castilian Italy, looking pretty nice. We just integrated Aragon, and I also moved my trade port to Genoa, so we're currently rocking with 54%. Genoa is by far the most affluent in the world, and that means in about 7 years we're going to spawn global trade. So although it did cost 200 Diplo points to move our trade area, at least we get 100 of that back, and we also get 100 admin and military as well. Hopefully kind of worth it there, spawning global trade. And my thought process is that if we can improve our economy, we can hire better advisors. So perhaps it justifies spending those 200 that way and getting more Diplo points over time in the long run. But this is currently what we look like. We've got a personal union over Bohemia. I don't think I've updated you guys since then as well. Yes, indeedy, we PU'd Bohemia. He actually had nothing but Bamberg. That's the only province that he had actually taken in addition to what he begins with. However, Austria was the one that basically was competitive with the succession war. And in the same war that we PU'd him, I gave him these two provinces. I thought that was a really smart strategic play in order to now we technically own Vienne, which is required to form Rome. And interestingly, this is the Balkans here in Croatia, and this is Italy here in Venetia. But you do not need this area or this area or this area to form Rome. So this is kind of like a colony, if you will, and you need to make some kind of bridge your way into there somehow. But we've effectively done that, and that's really, really cool. Otherwise, we have defeated the French. You can see our diplomacy is extremely strong right now. We're playing both the Commonwealth and the Muscovites off against each other, allied to these two powers. The Commonwealth in particular having a incredibly good game. They are in fact stronger than France, and they have been for a long time according to the Great Powers list. Now, we were hoping the Commonwealth would run out of options and rival France, and he would be our solution here because we got plenty of favors with him. Very long-term, loyal relationship with the Commonwealth, and he's very powerful to help us against the French. However, he freaking... It's really frustrating me, guys. Look how weak the Ottomans are. The Ottomans have only just recently annexed this land here, the Orthodox land. And even when he did not have this, in his current state, the Commonwealth has remained a valid rival for him. Really frustrating. Even though the Commonwealth integrated or accepted the printing press before the Ottomans did, at no point did he become an invalid rival. It's really beginning to upset me, guys, because the plan was that the Commonwealth would drop the Ottomans as a valid rival, and he, at the time, maybe Austria now, but at the time he wouldn't have had any other valid rivals. He's allied to Denmark and myself, so we were going to assume that he'd drop it on France and help us there. Nobody has freaking helped us against France. However, we've seen a huge comeback of Austria. Look at this dude. He randomly got the PU, a random PU, guys, over Hungary at a much, like 100 years later than you would expect. Hungary, who very quickly lost this land to Poland, but since then has basically sat around doing nothing. And the empire was in an absolute dismal state. He lost the emperorship very early. This dude got a militaristic ruler, and he rivaled Savoy. Savoy was huge. He's lost Courge, but he was like all the way out here. And Austria has just gobbled all of this stuff up. Look at him. Look at this dude expanding up here. So I'm really excited, to be honest. I'm hoping he expands into southern Germany in particular. Keep in mind, guys, this dude is Protestant. Wow, he was Reformed and now he's Protestant. He was, regardless of which religion he is, we're going to Deus Volt him. I already have a border with him. And we require Italy, which are these provinces here, to form Rome. So that's going to be Deus Volt. So I'm hoping that he actually is of a significant size, maybe after integrating Hungary and so on. In Germany in particular, provinces required to not form Rome that we can PU at a later date with the Spanish mission tree. That's what I'm hoping. Same goes for England, by the way. I'm going to take York and London, and leave him with provinces that I wish to try to PU at a later date. But, yeah. I'm not sure that I finished my thought process, guys. France, as you can see here, attacked Provence, and Provence was guaranteed by Austria. And the Austrians and French duked it out, and we just went ahead and manned up on France myself. So finally, we have expanded officially into France, shown him our prowess, and fun fact, guys, he flipped reformed. Look at that, dude. That's crazy. Central Europe fell so hard to these centers of Reformation. It's insane. Like, the only Catholic land here is my land. These are my subjects. It went so crazy. It's insane. And France went reformed. By actually willingly flipping reformed, he lost prestige. And so I felt like that was our opportunity. Our prestige was really high because France has the one thing he had over us massively is morale. He's got that 5 discipline as well. But due to being defender of the faith and we had a morale advisor and our prestige being high, his being low, we just manned up and we went on him while he showed some sign of weakness here. And by manning up on him, we took these, I think, 5 provinces via reconquest here and figged Burgundy. So it's better than nothing. But he's still a big powerhouse for sure. But what can you do? So that's pretty much the state of the game, guys. We'll go ahead and show you off the culture really quickly. My culture has, this is Iberia. I wish Portuguese was Castilian. Very similar color, but it's not. That's what Iberia looks like. We're spreading into southern Italy, the lowlands. And apart from that, just massively spreading our influence in the New World. But it's a long, painful road here, guys. And I really don't know what to think. We've got about 125 years or something like that left in the game. 125? 200. 225, something around that range. And I'm really concerned about this game on multiple fronts. I'm concerned about whether we can just annex the world in time. Like, everything, really. The monarch points, whether we have the monarch points in the time, separatism, converting the world. Compared to my Austrian run, it seems a lot weaker, to be honest, this run, so... I mean, I would have already formed Rome with the Holy Roman Empire right now in my Austrian run, guys, so... It is what it is. I'm going to try to PU the Commonwealth, and keyword there is try. I don't know how... So far, we haven't been able to actually get our ruler onto their throne. Somehow it's actually Anhalt who keeps doing it. Like, I don't know what kind of reputation this guy has. He's got German traditions. But he only has diplomatic ideas. I don't know how he's able to get his ruling dynasty into the Commonwealth so consistently. But yeah, I'm going to try to do that. We actually have a 4th diplomat because I am the career controller. So it's a good time to try to sponsor our heir like 100% of the time. That's pretty much it, guys. It's pretty exciting, but it may become more and more apparent as time goes on that we're not going to make it. We will find out here. It feels good to actually expand. We've expanded here, here in Europe, and soon I think the Ottomans are looking pretty damn vulnerable for us because the Commonwealth will actually help us. So I'm at a stage right now where I'm focusing my admin points and I'm trying to blow up as quickly as possible. Where I last updated you guys, I was looking really vulnerable, and you can see here that we've really geared up really hard. Both our navy and our forces are pretty high. I've been using a lot of military to boost our professionalism nowadays. We're ahead in most of our monarch points, really trying to play catch up here with the Diplo while we spend it. And speaking of spending our Diplo, we now finally have influence and religious. I did end up skipping offensive, guys. I felt so far behind. So, regrettably, we've been operating without our military idea, but we finally got influence and religious, and that with this 25%, and when we deem it necessary, that's 45% culture conversion reduction cost. So, we are going to have to basically get rid of this, which means we will have uprising chance. Because we only have 50%, and 50% is coming from our policy, so we're going to go for the 100% uprising chance, which is going to cost us stability, but we're also just swimming in papal influence, so I'm going to boost my stability right back up immediately. Otherwise, I've got a 444 ruler and a 444 heir. It's been a painful process trying to roll for good heirs, but we settled with this, guys. So, above average, power projections have been good, advisors are pretty good, but we need to step it up. We need to become more and more affluent. And I was hoping to actually delay integrating Portugal. You guys can see here that we have negative 5% chance to inherit him for free. But that is while we're losing a massive 3% reputation from annexing subjects. So we do actually have a chance to integrate Portugal for free on ruler death. And that would be spectacular if we don't have to spend the Diplo points. I kind of feel like we'll probably just leave Portugal there for a long time, hoping that we get that to occur. But we will be integrating Burgundy the old-fashioned way because he owns French. I mean, pretty much everything he owns is required. Wallonia is not, these 3 provinces, but the rest are required to form Rome. And that's it. We really just have to have the best game of all time and really pick up the pace here. And that's what my admin's finally going towards here while we focus it. Otherwise, we also have finally obtained the Parliament government type. And initially, I am using the Parliament to get an extra, if we go to the parliamentary bonus here, colonist and settlers. That's what I'm currently using it on. But you can reorient it every 10 years. And we're definitely going to make sure to orient it nicely to get that culture conversion cost reduction when it's appropriate. I'm not converting anything, or if I am, I don't think I am. It was when, back before I had any of these bonuses within reach. But I'm trying to hoard my points now, tech up for as efficiently as possible. And yeah, guys, to be honest, if we form Spain, which is something... Oh, I need Granada, that's right. Yeah, shoot. We might look at integrating Portugal the old-fashioned way. It's a shame, guys, because you don't need Granada to integrate through diplomacy, which I initially thought we were going to do, and that's why I give this land to Portugal. We might have to integrate Portugal. Rip, dude. Rip. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, once we form Spain, in about 10-15 years, there's a meantime to happen, so we'll have to make sure that our ruler is kind of young or whatever, where your ruler gets 15% reduced culture conversion costs until death. At this stage, we will have, I think, 5% less culture conversion cost than if we had embraced that, if we stack all of our modifiers. So my plan is to basically try to hoard our Diplo points nicely for the appropriate time where we have a long and prosperous ruler with that modifier. But the other thing that's important, guys, is the sheer amount of land to be converted. Like, think about it. If we go super efficient mode, if I take the policy for 20% on these, and then I take that bonus for 15%, we could probably dump this and convert everything we have, or close to it, you know? I mean, anything that's Castilian, we don't need to convert in this list. I think I'm just looking at Catalan. Either way, it would be close. So we also need to make sure that we actually have the sheer amount of land to be converted when we drop those modifiers as well. Well, I just learned something. I don't think we're going to procrastinate on Portugal. I think we're going to start integrating them ASAP, actually. Probably the sooner we do that, the better. But that's it for the update, guys. It's a pretty crazy game. We PU'd Naples, Aragon, Portugal, technically Navarre as well, and Bohemia. That's 5 personal unions this game, guys, and we're going to be gunning it for the big old Commonwealth. We're also looking at the missions to get Austria and England. I suggest Austria and England are a sure thing via the mission trees. So that should be 7 PUs. How nuts is that? And like I said, we're going to be gunning it for the Commonwealth, but this area, Bulgaria, is required to form Rome, so it's a little bit problematic there. It's a little bit problematic. I'm skeptical that we'll be able to get the Commonwealth. Of course, the idea is to make the Commonwealth our dynasty, and to be so powerful that we have no valid rivals. At that stage, we should be able to pull a royal marriage with him, and Muscovy would probably help us against favors, because even though he might not be our valid rival, very hard difficulty, and they're Polish with Polish ideas. It's pretty scary stuff, guys. Like, he's going to be a savage. But with the Muscovites' help, we could probably take him out in one fell swoop. And then in that case, I would certainly wait until the end of the game, until we have as much admin efficiency and everything as humanly possible, because there's no hurry to integrate the Commonwealth. And integrate him later on in the game. But that's it, guys. If you want to come check out how the game's going, make sure to see me live. There'll be a link down below in the comment section to my Twitch channel. And I'd appreciate it if you guys come say hi. But either way, that's it. I'm really looking forward to the moment of truth, guys, in which we form Rome and release all of these colonial nations. And there will be a huge stimulus to our economy and our force and everything like that. It's going to be glorious. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.